Hi there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime. This is where we break down the most high-profile and memorable true crime cases. What starts out with a horrible crime that destroyed the lives of so many people turns into a trial that is still hard to believe. November 21st, 2021, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Crowds gathered along Main Street for the town's annual Christmas parade.
Two of my children have been extremely involved in the dance team. They have danced in the parade for quite some time. It was always a really happy, fun event.
What should have been a festive time with family and loved ones suddenly becomes a nightmare caught on camera.
I remember hearing stuff, like, I don't really know, some commotion behind me.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
It was one of those where I can still feel the wind from his vehicle as he passed me.
A red Ford SUV unexpectedly comes barreling down the parade route, striking multiple people.
Oh my God.
This is a Christmas parade that happened. I think it's almost 60 years that it's been going on. And then suddenly have an individual that and just destroying every memory anyone's ever going to have of that event.
Nothing like this has ever happened to this extent in Waukesha County. You can't believe it's your own community. You can't believe it's your own friends and family.
Police are quickly alerted and begin to respond to the chaotic scene.
I shots fired, Wisconsin and West. I'm checking for injuries. There was someone running through the parade route.
In total, 6 people are killed, dozens injured, and hundreds of lives changed forever.
I followed the vehicle and I saw everything that happened. I kind of stood there in shock for a little bit. And then from there on, it kind of hit me like I need to go find my daughter. When I found her, she was in front of the vehicle. Once we got to the 4th floor ICU, it was there that they told me that they had to intubate her because of the seriousness of her injuries.
Authorities immediately try to figure out who did this, but the driver of the red SUV disappears. However, shortly after, he's captured on camera running through yards in the surrounding neighborhood.
So what do we think that he's doing? We think he's fleeing the scene.
But as you'll see, the unidentified man then shows up on a Ring doorbell camera at a nearby house.
Hey, I called an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
Police eventually track the man down.
Hands up! Hands where I can see them! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Get on the ground! This matches the description of the guy that got called on who was going door to door over here. What is your name?
Brooks.
First name?
Darrell. Did I do something?
That is yet to be determined, sir.
Is Darrell Brooks, though, the driver?
I'm Jeremy Polachowski, the FBI.
FBI?
I'm Mary, yep.
After he's detained, authorities begin to question him, including the FBI.
Yeah, like
Never, like, y'all for real? The FBI for real?
We know that he, during his adult life, moved around to several different states and had collected criminal histories in all of those places along the way.
I don't know what's going on.
I just know that, you were down in this neighborhood, someone called, they didn't know what you were doing down there and things like that.
They're not obligated to tell a suspect everything. They're not obligated to tell him the truth about everything.
It doesn't seem like people are being honest with me now at this point. And that's why I'm like, why should I talk to you if you're not going to be honest with me?
This is just the start of Brooks's interrogation. When we return, things get very tense.
For the love of God, you know what happened yesterday for the people. Tell me what happened.
With what?
With the car.
It's an event that is supposed to be happy and joyous just turned into something so horrific in a matter of just minutes.
In November 2021, tragedy strikes the small town of Waukesha, Wisconsin, when a rogue SUV barrels down the route of an annual Christmas parade, leaving 6 dead and dozens injured. While police located the abandoned red Ford SUV, they eventually apprehend the suspected driver, Darrell Brooks. Cameras captured him going from yard to yard and even trying to seek refuge at a stranger's home. While his behavior is suspicious, is he the killer?
Just, come on, man. You've been straight up with me the whole time, man. Am I looking at something serious, man?
They weren't fully honest with him. They didn't tell him exactly what the investigation was. In fact, they told him this was more about the domestic violence incident.
I just want to know what is going on.
I'm going to tell you.
Investigators start by asking Brooks about an incident with his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Erica Patterson, an incident that occurred right before he allegedly drove the car into the parade.
I'm not being charged with anything.
Well, she's making some, like I said, alleged allegations against you, kind of, for being physical.
Who assaulted me? We're arguing who assaulted me.
Why Erica was here in Waukesha in the first place was an attempt to get away from Mr. Brooks after he had run her over with that same SUV in Milwaukee just a few weeks earlier.
How did you come to meet with her in Waukesha?
I was supposed to be getting some money from her.
How did the conversation with her end?
With me walking off and her being pissed off that I didn't want to hang out with her.
To harass her the way that he did, to force her into the vehicle, just to punch her in the face. A picture of Erica Patterson in that black eye just shows just a fraction of what she's been through.
Although Brooks denies attacking Patterson, detectives press and search for a possible connection between the altercation and the parade attack.
Did she ever make you lose? Has she ever caused you to lose control?
No.
There's no question he's in a rage, and we see it in the video when he's with his ex-girlfriend.
And then investigators question Brooks further on details of his account.
How did you get out here again?
My friend.
What type of car does he drive?
It's like a Kia.
Okay. What color is it?
Like tan.
Have any car you can drive at all?
I do have license, but no vehicle.
You didn't walk to Waukesha. Whose car did you guys use?
My friend.
I'm just trying to figure out how you got here.
Yeah, I know, but it seemed like you trying to, spin me up or something.
In the whole story that he concocted about getting a ride out here from a friend, that was all just intended to mislead.
I just have concerns if I fact check that Darrell's not telling me the truth. You did not come out here in a tan Kia. Okay. You got a key in your pocket, and that key works for that car.
I think what was interesting is they were both playing mind games with each other. He knew this was not about a domestic violence incident, and neither of them are completely truthful with each other.
Tim, what's going on, man?
Asking you a question.
Just be.
You were out there
Just tell
driving
me
kind
what's
of
going
crazy.
on,
Some
man.
people said you were driving kind of crazy. We got reports of it. I know you know what car I'm talking about.
They were persistent, they were fair, and at the very end, they confronted him with video and photographic evidence.
What if it wasn't me driving? What if it was you? What if it wasn't me? Who else would it be? That you? No, that's not me. That's not you. That's not me. That's not you. No, I don't. Darrell. That's Darrell. That's you. That's you, Darrell. Why you say it like that, man?
Brooks would end up being charged with 76 criminal counts, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. But this is just the beginning. The trial of Darrell Brooks Jr. is something no one will soon forget.
Furthermore, I'll object to that. I'm not because that's a lie.
Let him
at the
finish.
end of the day,
Let him
if
finish,
we're gonna open the door
Mr.
on that, no,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much, But y'all lied to me, man.
You have lied to us as well.
Almost a year after a red SUV barreled down a parade route in Waukesha, Wisconsin, killing 6 people and injuring dozens of others, the alleged driver of that vehicle is on trial. Darrell Brooks Jr. faced 76 criminal counts, including intentional homicide charges.
This was an accident, and he mistakenly wandered onto the parade route after passing all this. All he had to do was stop. They could have paused the parade. He didn't. It was intentional.
This trial, though, was anything but conventional.
Do you wish to represent yourself in this case?
Yes, I do.
There are times when an individual chooses to represent himself and it inures to his benefit. There are times when jurors can actually feel sorry for the defendant.
This incident was not planned. This incident was not intentional. A lot of suffering involved in this incident. A lot of misunderstanding.
This trial was unlike any other trial any of us have ever been involved in because of his self-representation.
I would like to represent myself as a sovereign citizen.
Throughout the trial, Darrell Brooks would bring up many things that were irrelevant. One of them was that he was a sovereign citizen. It basically was that he's not a citizen of the United States, and therefore the government, the judge, the law doesn't have any control over him.
We all kind of figured he was going to go the sovereign citizen direction there. It was just one of those where we're going, oh, great. Here we go. It's going to be a rodeo.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
The written decision that I previously entered is what I will stand on.
I don't think he actually really believes that he's a sovereign citizen. I don't think he believed that there was an issue of subject matter jurisdiction. I think he's smarter than that. His motive was just to be a disturbance.
Objection. Leading the witness. Saw the video.
It's overruled. Now you may answer the question.
Grounds for the overrule, Your Honor.
It's overruled. You may answer.
Grounds for the overrule, Your Honor.
It was distracting with all of his interruptions and ramblings.
Would you describe them all as being about teenage years?
Objection.
Overruled. You may answer.
These are the grounds, Your Honor. Do you even know the state of Wisconsin?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
He would, on the flip of a switch without notice, just go off on irrelevant topics and not let it go.
The defense would like to call the plaintiff state of Wisconsin to the stand.
Object. The objection is noted. It is sustained. Call your next witness, please.
Reason for the sustain?
Not relevant.
I believe the jury deserves to know who the plaintiff is in this matter.
Mr. Brooks,
who the plaintiff is.
please move on.
But Brooks's outbursts would become even more volatile.
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody.
He reminded me of a 2-year-old. Every time something started to go not his way, he would throw a temper tantrum, literally.
This court ordered Mr. Brooks be removed from the courtroom due to repeated interruptions. He took his shirt off as well. I'm also told that he is threatening to throw and break items.
And Judge Jennifer Darrow would find herself on the receiving end of much of Brooks's blow-ups.
I don't care what you believe fully.
All right.
It's not a game.
The amount of lashing out and disrespect was beyond belief.
Mr. Brooks.
Come on, man, stop.
When you
stop
are
it.
you aren't
Stop
even
it. You're a
letting me
public
ask the
servant, Your Honor.
question.
I respect your courtroom. I respect you. You're a public servant, though. Your job is to be the referee.
You know, I didn't think that he would be that disrespectful. He has no respect for humankind at all.
I would like to provide the defendant and the court with.
So that had to be said. So it's the defendant.
That's not how it was said.
That was how it said. You want to run the record back?
I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
But she has to listen to that and respond to it. So her temperament was, she deserves high praise for that.
Coming up, we break down the legal arguments for each side, and before the final decision, the families don't hold anything back.
I can only hope they lock you away someplace so deep the rats chew on your fingers at night.
Mr. Brooks's statements that the audio doesn't work when I mute him is simply false.
I didn't say nothing about the audio not working, so you need to stop lying on the record.
In 2022, a jury in Waukesha, Wisconsin is listening to the trial of Darrell Brooks Jr., the man accused of driving an SUV through a holiday parade the year prior, a trial where the defendant decided to represent himself in wild fashion.
You are not being respectful to this proceeding or to this jury. No, it's not. With all due respect, stating that doesn't make it respectful.
Brooks faced 76 criminal charges for allegedly killing 6 people and injuring dozens of others.
We want to do right by these victims and by our communities. These families all suffered so greatly that we absolutely wanted to do our best.
I watched the body fly up onto the hood, and her head snapped back, and the body remained on the hood as it passed the side of my vehicle.
Asking these witnesses to relive these events was very difficult for us.
Did you see the red SUV strike any people in the Catholic community group?
Several. It was in the air, like bowling pins.
Some of the witnesses had indicated that they even noticed that he almost had this look on his face, like he knew exactly what he was doing, exactly where he was going.
I saw a man focused on the group ahead of him.
Is that Darrell Brooks that you saw?
Yes.
While the prosecution would present evidence tying Brooks to the crimes, Brooks presented another side of the story.
Well, what were the defenses to his case? First was that there was a mechanical error with the car.
You believe that there may have been some mechanical problems. How were you able?
We're going to start with the Ertopia. It's the lightest bike on this list.
Able to come to that determination?
That was my initial concern because of the noise that the engine was making.
The second issue was that they didn't have the right guy.
Could you see anybody inside the vehicle? Your answer was, I could not see the person real clearly.
And then the last one he brought was the person who did this did not intend to kill the individuals because they honked beforehand.
So you heard a horn beeping?
Yes.
Was it coming from the vehicle that you tried to stop?
I believe that it was.
And at one point, Brooks appealed to the jury's emotions and even improperly argued that the jury could ignore the law.
You have the power to nullify any law that you don't agree with.
Objection. Move to strike the statement.
Sustain.
In late October 2022, a 12-person jury reached a unanimous verdict after about 3 hours of deliberations.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. Hey, you are to be removed right now.
The jury found Darrell Brooks Jr. guilty of all 76 criminal charges.
We had witnesses that identified him. We had video that identified him. The fact that he was close by, the lies he told, he darn well knew exactly what he had done.
Nearly a year to the day following the attack, at the sentencing hearing, Brooks faced the victims' families and the survivors of the parade attack massacre.
And there's nothing this court can do that would provide justice in my eyes. So all I ask is that you rot slow.
Times where I felt justice wouldn't be served until he had to take that SUV to his chest, exactly the same way he treated my child. And I hope the look on my daughter's face before you ran her over haunts you for the rest of your life. That whole experience really opens up your eyes to know how fast things can be ripped away from you and can change your life in a matter of seconds. Jessalyn is doing amazing. It's surprising how well she has bounced back. The recovery process has been a very long journey.
Very long and exhausting. It was a lot of physical therapy and doctor's appointments. I'm doing pretty good.
As for Brooks, he had some words before his official sentencing.
Not only am I sorry for what happened, I'm sorry that you could not see what's truly in my heart.
But Judge Darrow wasn't convinced.
Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life. This court is imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another.
And our thoughts just stay with our community and our families. They still need a lot of love, a lot of support, and a lot of prayers. Closure is a word that gets used a lot in this business, but I hope at least they can rest knowing that Darrell Brooks is sleeping in prison every night.
It's really not an understatement to say just how absolutely devastating this case has been for so many. And yes, a lot of attention focused upon Darrell Brooks and his wild behavior during trial, but we shouldn't forget what this case has always been about, and that is the victims. Because despite all of Brooks's arguments, this jury seemingly didn't believe anything he had to say, and they delivered a verdict that holds him fully accountable for what he did. That's all we have for you here on Prime Crime. As always, thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay safe.